We've been quietly taught to be embarrassed by small. We admire the big leap, the overnight success, the dramatic transformation, and we tend to despise the small, slow, unimpressive beginning, our own most of all. 5 minutes of progress feels too tiny to mention. A single good day feels like it barely counts. And so we skip past our small starts, waiting to feel proud until they're big, which often means never feeling proud at all. But tonight the sky pushes back on all of that. The moon is a waxing crescent, August 16th, 2026, about 11% lit, still small, but now clearly, confidently growing. And the sun sits in gate 4, line 6, the role model who has matured into deep, patient trust in the slow process. So this is your moon letter in praise of small beginnings, the ones we despise, and the only ones that ever actually grow. Let's open it. The crescent tonight is still small, about 11% lit, but something has changed. She no longer looks like she's barely hanging on. She looks like she's growing. There's a confidence in her now, a clear, curved sliver that's noticeably fuller than 2 nights ago, climbing higher, staying up longer. And here's what she's quietly demonstrating. She is not embarrassed to be small. She isn't rushing to look full before she's ready, or apologizing for only being 11% of the way there. She's simply growing, at exactly the rate she grows, honoring each phase as it comes. She knows something we forget, that you cannot be full without first being a sliver, and being a sliver is not a failure to be full, it's a necessary, honorable stage of becoming so. Every full moon you have ever seen was a week earlier, exactly this small. So the modest crescent tonight is holding its head up, unhurried and unashamed, and showing you that small isn't a lesser version of big. It's the beginning of it, and it deserves the same respect. The energy tonight is quietly confident, the feeling of a beginning that has found its footing. The fragile, easily lost quality of the first few nights has passed. What's here now is steadier. A young thing that's clearly going to make it, growing at a sustainable, unhurried pace. And there's a particular satisfaction in this stage. If you let yourself feel it, the satisfaction of something small that's genuinely working. Not finished, not impressive to anyone else yet, but real, and moving in the right direction. Tonight's energy asks you to let that satisfaction count. To stop measuring your beginning against the finished, glamorous version of it and start honoring it for what it actually is, alive, growing, and yours. There's a deep steadiness available tonight to anyone willing to be proud of a small, real thing instead of ashamed that it isn't big yet. The moon is proud to be 11% tonight, so can you be? In human design, the sun is in gate 4, line 6. Gate 4 is the gate of answers, and line 6 is its most mature line, the role model. Line 6 has a long arc across a life. It starts out involved and experimental, goes through a phase of stepping back and observing, and finally matures into a kind of quiet wisdom, a trust in the process that no longer needs to rush or prove. The role model doesn't teach by lecturing. It teaches by being, by having lived long enough to know that real things grow slowly, and by embodying a patient, steady faith in that slowness. And that's the perfect energy for a growing crescent. Line 6 knows what the impatient part of us keeps forgetting, that the small, consistent, unglamorous path is the one that actually arrives. That trust in the process isn't naive, it's earned wisdom. So, tonight, Gate 4 line 6 invites you to borrow that maturity. To stop needing your beginning to be big, to be worthy. To trust the slow growth even on the days you can't see it working. And to become, for yourself and quietly for others, a living example of someone who honors small, real progress and lets it grow. So let's understand why we underrate small starts so badly, because the bias runs deep and naming it weakens it. The first reason is simple wiring. Big leaps are exciting, and small steps are easy to dismiss. Our attention is drawn to the dramatic, the transformation, the reveal, the before and after. A single small step generates no excitement, so we discount it, even though the small steps are what actually build the before and after. Second, we see finished things and forget they began tiny. We encounter the impressive result, the strong body, the finished book, the thriving relationship, the mastered skill, fully formed, and we never see the 1,000 unglamorous small beginnings that built it. So we compare our visible start to everyone else's invisible finish, and ours looks pathetic by contrast. It isn't. It's just at an earlier stage that there's once occupied too. Third, and this is the cruel one, slow progress feels like no progress from the inside. When you're growing a little each day, the daily change is too small to feel. Day to day, it looks like nothing's happening, and that feeling of stalling makes people quit right before the compounding becomes visible. The growth was real the whole time. You just couldn't feel it yet. And fourth, the cultural piece. We reward the launch, not the quiet keeping on. We celebrate the start of things and the finish of things, but almost never the long, boring middle where the actual growing happens. So people get no applause for the daily, small, faithful continuation, which is precisely the part that matters most. Tonight is a small correction to all of it, a night that says the small beginning is not the embarrassing version of change. It's the true one. So let's make the case plainly, how tiny consistent growth actually wins. First, the mathematics of it a little every day compounds into something enormous. This is the least intuitive and most powerful truth there is. A tiny improvement, repeated daily, doesn't add up in a straight line. It multiplies. The crescent doesn't gain a fixed amount of light each night. It accelerates, small at first, then unmistakable. Your small daily thing works the same way, barely noticeable for a while, then suddenly substantial. The size of the daily step is almost irrelevant. The repetition is everything. Second, small is sustainable and dramatic usually isn't. The huge, intense effort, the crash diet, the total overhaul, the heroic push is exciting precisely because it can't last. It burns bright and burns out. The small step survives because it's small enough to keep doing on a tired day, a busy day, a discouraged day. Sustainability is the whole game, and small is what makes a thing sustainable. Third, and this follows, consistency beats intensity over any real length of time. One person trains ferociously for 2 weeks and stops. Another does a little, most days, for 2 years. It is not close. The tortoise wins so reliably that it stopped being a surprise a long time ago, and yet we keep betting on the hare, because the hare is more exciting. Don't bet on the hare. Bet on the small, steady, boring thing you can actually keep doing. And fourth, the reassurance for the hard days. You can't see compounding while it's happening, only after. This is why faith matters. In the middle of the slow growth, there is no visible proof that it's working. The evidence only appears in hindsight, once the small steps have quietly stacked into something you can finally see. So on the days it feels pointless, you're not failing. You're in the invisible part, the part where the real growing happens out of sight, exactly like the light gathering in a crescent that won't look full for another week. So, how do you actually honor the size you're at tonight, instead of despising it? 3 grounding moves. First, measure against yesterday, not against the finished thing. The fastest way to feel like a failure is to compare your day 3 to someone's day 1000. So change the comparison. The only fair question is, am I a little further along than I was yesterday or last week? Measured that way, small progress reveals itself as exactly what it is, progress. Second, celebrate the small win instead of skipping past it. We have a terrible habit of acknowledging only the finish line and treating every step before it as not yet worth anything. Break the habit tonight. When you make a small bit of progress, actually let it land. Name it, feel it, let it count. The brain that gets to feel good about small wins is the brain that shows up to make more of them. Third, Keep the next step small enough that you'll actually repeat it. This is the real secret of consistency. The reason people fall off isn't lack of willpower, it's that they made the step too big to sustain. So, deliberately shrink it. Make it so small it feels almost too easy. Because a small step you'll actually take every day beats a big step you'll admire and avoid. And underneath all three, the quiet discipline that carries it. Trust the process on the days you can't see it working. There will be stretches where nothing seems to be growing, where the small steps feel pointless, where you're sure you've stalled. Those are not the days to quit. Those are the invisible days, the compounding days, the days the crescent is gathering light you can't yet see. Keep taking the small step anyway. That faith on the flat, unrewarding days is the whole difference between the beginnings that grow and the ones that get abandoned right before they would have bloomed. Here is your ritual for the honored beginning, small and proud, like the crescent itself. When the evening settles, step outside and find her. The waxing crescent, about 11% lit, clearly growing now, unhurried and unashamed of her size. Honor her for exactly what she is, not a failed full moon, but a healthy, growing sliver, right on schedule. Let her stand for your own small beginning. Then, name one small bit of progress you'd normally overlook. Something from the last few days that you'd usually skip past as too minor to count. A step you took, a habit you kept, a small choice in the right direction. Find it and hold it up. Next, let it count. Say it, out loud if you can. This is small, and it matters. Feel your self-refuse for once to despise your own small progress, and watch how different it feels to let a small win actually land. And finally, choose the next small step, sized so you'll actually take it. Not the ambitious version, the sustainable one. Make it small enough that, even on a tired day, you do it. Name that step and commit to it, not as a grand gesture, but as one more modest brick in something that's quietly, faithfully growing. Then walk back inside proud of a small, real thing, which is the only kind of thing that ever grows into a big one. So, let this be the letter you keep from tonight. The small, slow, barely visible beginning isn't the weak kind of change, it's the real kind. The crescent grows about 11% tonight and stands there completely unashamed because she knows every full moon was once exactly this small, and there is no path to full that skips the sliver. We despise small beginnings, and that contempt is precisely why so few things in a life ever get the chance to grow. So tonight, do the quietly radical thing. Honor your small start. Measure it against yesterday, not against someone else's finished masterpiece. Let the small win count. Keep the next step small enough to actually repeat. And trust the compounding on the flat days when you can't feel it working, because that invisible middle is exactly where the growing happens. Big things are just small things that were honored and tended and repeated long enough to become big. Yours can be too. Don't despise the day of small beginnings. It's the only day any large thing ever started from. Thank you for honoring something small tonight instead of despising it, and for trusting the slow growth even where you can't yet see it. A new letter from the sky arrives every single day, and as the crescent keeps filling toward its first quarter, the days ahead are about steady, patient continuation. Until then, measure against yesterday, keep the steps small enough to repeat, and let your small real thing keep quietly growing.